या भागात आपण पाहणार आहोत स्टार्टअप व्हॅल्युएशन. वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस startup valuation in this session. Now, startup is a very pet word and one can create very creative models. Now, when we talk about edutech, pharmatech, medtech, adtech, whatnot, these startups are unique ideas. When they have the unique ideas, what you look for is them that they are meeting the gap between demand and supply. Take a simple silly example of Swiggy and Zomato. I remember I used to get to go a nice Udupi shop, which is I used to like the dosa there. Now it is from my house, it is a kilometer away. I'll spend at least 50 rupees for auto and 50 rupees to come back or drive down and then find parking issue. And then when I phone him and tell him that, can you deliver me? He said, look, your house is too far, or you will see if I have to send a waiter, the order has to be about 700-800 rupees. Now if I am alone, how am I going to spend, eat for 700-800 rupees? I can eat one dosa, two dosas, that's all. Now that gap is filled up because he is aggregating. And one of the biggest successful concept in India as far as startups is concerned, being an aggregator. What is an aggregator? In a simple language, I am a bhajji, Brahmin. What am I doing? I am making demand and supply to meet. So for example, the first aggregators we saw in Mumbai are Dabbawalas, and only when Prince Charles recognized them, we understood. Second was when we saw matchmaking. We have in India caste-wise matchmaking. So shadi.com, matrimony.com, these are all. Then the third we come to when you see demand supply, it is naukri.com. And from there now, each of these things which we are realizing, how do you do the valuation of startups? आपण startups valuation कसं करू शकतो हे मी तुम्हाला 5 छोट्या स्टेप्स मध्ये सांगणार आहे. कारण पुष्कळ वेळा काय होतं, व्हॅल्युएशन हा फार मोठा बाऊ केला जातो. हा फारसा अवघड नाहीये. अर्थातच त्याच्यात क्रिएटिव्ह आयडिया सुचल्या पाहिजेत, डेटा बँक अवेलेबल झाली पाहिजे. बट आय विल शेअर विथ यू 5 सिंपल थिंग्स. 1, फाइंड व्हॉट इज द पेन पॉइंट. आता पेन पॉइंट म्हणजे काय, तर दुःखाची बाब काय आहे. जेव्हा मी खाली येतो आणि टॅक्सीवाला विचारतो मला बीकेसीला जायचं आहे, टॅक्सीवाला म्हणतो मी येणार नाही. किंवा मग तो काय म्हणतो की मला त्या बाजूला जायचं नाहीये. किंवा कित्येक वेळेला तो थांबतच नाही माझ्यासाठी, किंवा त्याला लांबचं भाडं हवं असतो. ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टींमुळे मी वाट पाहत बसतो आणि कित्येक वेळा टॅक्सी येतच नाही माझ्या रस्त्यावर. पण आता ते सगळं संपलंय, कारण हा माझा पेन पॉइंट होता. जेव्हा आम्ही ओला कॅबचं अनालिसिस केलं होतं, आम्ही स्वतः ओला कॅबच्या केसवरती स्टडी केलेला आहे, आम्ही त्यांचं इंडेक्स पण केलेलं आहे. तर जेव्हा आम्ही ते त्यांची व्हॅल्युएशन्स केलीत आम्ही, तर जेव्हा आम्ही त्याचा अभ्यास केला तेव्हा एक लक्षात आलं की बाबा ओला कॅब्स ही जी नॉर्मल टॅक्सी असते, नॉर्मल टॅक्सीवाला हा नॉर्मली एक शिफ्ट काम करतो. तीच टॅक्सी बऱ्याचदा नाईट शिफ्टमध्ये वापरलीच जात नाही. तो 8 ते 10 तास वापरतो ती टॅक्सी. त्याच्यामधले त्याचे मिनिमम 4 तास आयडल टाईम जातात आणि उरलेल्या 6 तासामध्ये त्याचा सर्च टाईम मिनिमम 2 तास असतो. त्यामुळे टॅक्सीचं डेप्रिसिएशन 24 तास होऊन सुद्धा तो फक्त 4 तास ती टॅक्सी बिलेबल असते. नाव आता काय झालंय, तीच टॅक्सी 3 शिफ्टमध्ये चालते या 2 शिफ्टमध्ये चालते. तीच टॅक्सी मिनिटाला तुम्ही कधीही टॅक्सीत बसा, व्हेरी नेक्स्ट मिनिट ही इज गेटिंग द मोमेंट यू आर रिचिंग युअर डेस्टिनेशन, ही ऑलरेडी हॅज द नेक्स्ट गाय इन लाईन. झिरो वेटिंग टाइम. द टँजिबल ॲसेट युटिलायझेशन टू इन्क्रीज द प्रोडक्टिव्हिटी ऑफ द मॅन पॉवर has tripled from 4 hours to 12 hours average. Now, if India, I mean, during my childhood, I used to say here, India has a lot of resources, but we don't utilize them fully. And now I see this startup venturing is finding out those pain points and ensuring that they are brought together and solved. Same thing with, as I said, Swiggy and Zomato. I can get a cup of tea also. And now, otherwise at restaurant, half the time or more than that, the waiters are sitting idle. The kitchen is sitting empty. The tables and chairs are just lying there, unused. Now what is happening? People are doing cloud kitchen. They are saying no dine in. In fact, one of the biggest thing was done by the KFC. No dine in. Okay. So they brought their space itself to 1/3. And today, Swiggy Zomato had promised them 6 times the business. Why? Because the orders are so much and it is fully busy. Capacity is fully utilized. And that gave employment also to many younger generation to travel on the motorcycle. So, one, what is the pain point? Second, can I do the utilization of the tangible assets? Much more, double, triple, whatever. And can I find a gap between demand and supply? Demand is looking for supply and supply is looking for demand. Same thing happens with Netmade, Pharma Easy, 1mg Tata. Many medicines are required, but I don't take it, or I want to order it, or I have to go to the doctor and take a prescription. Here what happens is, you get the medicines at home. In fact, these have become the competitions to offline. Then, next thing happens is, today what happens is that the Google Maps, which for India improved I think 10-15 years back very well, and now they are super improving every minute. Today Google Map usage itself has created many startups. So point number first, pain point. Now the pain point can be removed. Point number 2, tangible assets utilization. Tangible assets can you utilize maximum. Point number 3, market scope. Don't stop at local, stop at global. First thing when we did Pharma Easy's valuation, we asked them, are you going to go global? The fellow was shocked. The second point which I asked him was, my medical shop fellow is Sai Medical. Now he is Sai Medical and General Stores. Will you be giving me the toothpaste and toothbrush also? Then he said, oh yes, why not? If you are buying from the same shop, I can have a tie-up for him even for the non-medical things. That itself double the business. Now the business model is expanded and far bigger. Then one day we start finding Uber Eats. Look at the cross-selling. I was using taxis, but now I start competing in that area with Swiggy and Zomato also. Other day, the courier comes to me and tells me that, do you have anything to carry back? Now one would have never experienced like that. So, we are in the age of aggregators, and these aggregators, through the pain point removal, through the tangible assets optimum utilization, through the untapped areas capturing, and through the demand supply making you meet. The step which we follow after that is finding out 9 variables per point. For example, if I want to say how many customers are there for Ola cabs in Mumbai, then what I will say, okay, what is Mumbai's population? What is the Mumbai's population which is going by car or motorcycle or taxi? How many of them are facing the pain points like parking is a problem, driver not available? And then I will arrive at some kind of a probabilistic model with the Monte Carlo simulation. Now I am moving to 10 methods of valuing startups. You will be shocked to know that there are 10 methods. And some of the methods are very qualitative, some of the methods are very quantitative. Years together, last few years, the GMV model was very popular. What is GMV model? GMV model means gross revenue. Okay. So, the gross revenue is something which is not Ola's commission. So, suppose the taxi driver gets 500 and Ola gets 25. Then are you doing the business calculation based on 500 or 25? That is the question. Then next comes that, can you have variety models? And one day they start auto also. One day start sharing also. Now Uber has come up with shuttle also. Now when you start finding out different model, what are you looking at? How can I keep this taxi running every minute of the day based on a paid basis? Now that's something which is a unique factor which is coming in as far as this is concerned. Whereas we know that even the companies like NoSil at one time, which was a king, that was also 50% utilization of capacity. I remember in the balance sheet there used to be disclosures, installed capacity and utilized capacity. Now I said that when there is so much of a demand there, such a high population, despite installed capacity, why there is not utilized? We should utilize fully. So we will find some flaws. So the startups are aiming at that. Now I will share with you the 10 startup valuation methods. Method number 1, which I like, because being a chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary, I am a man of figures. So when I am a man of figures, I will say, look, what is startup? So and so. How much will be your 5 years profit? So why 5th year profit? No, I am not asking 5 years, I am asking 5th year. Why do you mean only 5th year? Because first 4 years there will be nothing. Startups are burning the money for first 4, 5, 10 years. Look at the Byju's, which is in horrible situation now. And look at how Zomato or Paytm or Nykaa went into excellent IPOs, and now of course Paytm like people come in trouble for something else. So one is venture capitalist model, wherein you should calculate how much is to be burned during the first 4, 5 years. What will be the start EBITDA at the 5th year? Use the PE ratio and arrive at what an investor can invest at so much value with so much percentage. Alright. Second method, Dr. Dave Burkus method. Dr. Dave Burkus method focuses on how much factor weightage you will get. So let's say somebody would have good founders, somebody would have a good idea, somebody would have a good business model, somebody would have a good brand, somebody. So he has specified 4 or 5 factors, but they are not hard and fast. Any factor you take and say, if I want to have this factor in my company, how much will be its value? Call it a paid value and make the valuation of that. That is Dr. Burkus method. Then the third method is risk factor summation method. What are the types of risk? If you take the risk, political risk, legal risk, statutory risk, business risk, country risk, foreign exchange risk, you name, social risk, economical risk, financing risk. So all these factors need to be weighted. Weighted in what? Figures. So you can be either zero risk or positive or very positive or negative or very negative. Now all put together, whatever is the total of the risk factors, that is called summation method. Here I will give you the example of HomeTiffin.com. HomeTiffin.com was a company started with a great enthusiasm, and I think the owner was ex-Swiggy or ex-Zomato. Now the idea was to have home tiffins available. So he tied up with lot of housewives, and also the people downloaded that Play Store model. When I click, I say, okay, I will guess, okay, these are the menus of different these things, these are the prices, I will go for this home tiffin. That model would have worked fantastic. Okay. But what happened there? Now the question is, if some food goes bad and the customer complains, in the Dabbawala system, your own wife gives the food. You can't complain. Okay. And there should be no complaint. So the rules of FSSAI, that is food safety, came into the picture and the model could not succeed. Because the third party customer, when he lodges a claim, who has the responsibility of taking the care of the safety in the kitchen of a housewife? Neither she can manage nor HomeTiffin.com manage. So such kind of things happen. Ola or Uber, they were filed a suit in Delhi High Court. What happened? Their license should be cancelled. What is the decision Justice Loda gave? That in the public interest, I am allowing them the license. But at the same time, he put a small catch. He is saying, look, but all the taxis should be now CNG based. I am giving them 12 months. So they had a huge outgo of few hundred crores. Suddenly a risk came up. Though the business survived, this was a completely unexpected thing for them. So he had put a little catch in his judgment. Now what has happened? Why do I now ready to pay at least 50% more or even 100% more for Ola or Uber compared to the taxi fellow? One is the taxi fellow himself is unhappy because he has not worked. Second, he has to search, I have to search. Third, he doesn't have AC. Fourth, he doesn't have a Google map. So you keep on giving him the directions. Today, if I sit in Ola, I can work on my laptop. I don't have to look at it. Where is he going? He drops me at the sharp point, whether it is Sobha Towers in Pune is concerned. So the risk factor summation method, Dave Burkus method, venture capitalist method. Now like this, there are 10 methods. So for example, ownership method, discounted cash flow method, then going concern method. So all these methods are useful in terms of arriving at the valuation for the startups. Startup is not an easy game. Many startups fail, and despite that, you are able to make successful models which is driving the employment, which is driving the productivity, which is driving the various goals of the organization. So, but don't think I start a business means I have a startup. I'll give you a unique idea which one of my friends has started. How you can think of a startup, and this idea should remain in your mind as one of the typical examples. You know, I am a CA and the CAs have an exam. CA exams are in May and November. Yes, CA has 3 types of exams: foundation, inter, final. Final number of people who appear are 1 lakh, out of which 10,000 pass. Intermediate 3 lakh appear, and foundation another 3 lakh appear. Total 7 lakhs people. Average subject 7 each. 7 lakhs into 7 subject. How many? 49. Say 50 lakhs. Out of 50 lakhs, how many people go to classes? 40 lakhs. Out of 40 lakhs, how many people do the mock test? Okay. So almost 30 lakhs. Now 30 lakhs mock test papers are to be created and solved, because we said 7 subjects, but per subject again there are 5 papers. So 1.5 crore business model into, let's say, 100 rupees. 15 crore business model is at your hand. If you talk about the 100 rupees, a simple model he created. And what he did, he made all the class fellows and told them that I will create mock papers and get them digitally assessed and give it to you back. Because the class fellows like J.K. Shah in Mumbai or Vinod Sharma in Delhi, they don't have faculties who are interested in assessing the question papers. They are good at giving delivery, but they are bored with solving the papers because that is not a very economical job comparatively. Now this guy took my help, in fact, and we found out all the, and majority of them were girls or wives who have passed CA but are doing nothing. They found it as a good incentive. And though it was not very paying, they said, okay, I am remaining in touch. And that model is now working very, very well. Class fellows are dumping on these people. This is the students to whom you have to give the question papers. This fellow picks it up, digitally mechanizes it, sends it to the tied up assessors. Of course, the assessors sometimes don't do the work in time, etc., etc. But then they assess digitally, it comes back, it goes to the student. Now, this fellow, a young fellow of 25, 26, has raised the business model of not less than 5 crores in 3 years' time. Then we started seeing what are the further gaps. These CA exams happen only in May and November. What about the other months? You say, okay, let us look at ICW exam. That is in June and December. Let us look at some other exams. So like this, a gap model was found. Where is the gap in the demand and supply? So the startups can be created on that, and you will find startups is a very enjoyable journey. We have done more than, I think, 50 startup valuations, and we will certainly like to help you, anybody, not only to develop your ideas as a startup, but do the valuation which will take you and our country to the greater heights. Thank you.